Yo, it's your boy Austin Rutherford. Today, we're talking about the most important thing you can learn in real estate, and it's how you can earn $1 million in your first month flipping houses. No, I'm kidding. You can't do that. Definitely not possible. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. This would be a very easy video to break down to you. But for real, let's get serious now. Today, we're talking about how you can start flipping houses and how it's not as complicated as most people make it out to be, and how you can start right now today simply by just taking action. And for this, I'm gonna be using one of the first houses I ever flipped for the example during this. We're gonna talk about all the lessons I've learned, because believe me, I experienced a lot of lessons on that house. We're gonna break it down, and how one single deal can change the outcome of your life forever, can change your future forever, and how that happened for me. So what we're going to be talking about today, number one, marketing and negotiating, how to market for houses, how to negotiate that with the seller. Number two, money, of course, how you can get the deal funded so you can start buying these houses. Number three, following your boy and hitting that like button. No, that wasn't number three, but if you want to follow and if you want more content, definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe button, be greatly appreciated. But number three, for real, is contractors and repairs. So how to hire and manage contractors, and how to make sure that you don't blow budgets on the job. And number four, selling it. Of course, you gotta sell it, you gotta make this money. Number one is marketing, and you gotta believe in the process. You gotta understand that it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. So it might not happen today or tomorrow or this week or even this month, maybe even this year, but eventually it will happen. So you just gotta believe in the process and trust the process. And I can hear it now already. Oh, but Austin, I don't have any money. Oh, Austin, this doesn't work. I've already tried. Austin, I'm down bad. I'm already hurting. I don't have the money. I've heard it all before, believe me. I've heard all the excuses you could ever imagine in the world. Some of the craziest excuses you've ever even heard of, but they're all excuses. That's all that they are. It works. There's plenty of people out in this world flipping houses right now, so why can't you do it? Why is that excuse only valid for you? It's not. It doesn't make sense. Get those out of your head. And at the end of the day, all marketing doesn't cost money. That's what a lot of people are scared of, is throwing all this money into marketing and then a deal not coming from it. Yes, there's paid marketing, and yes, there's unpaid marketing. So like direct mail, cold calling, RVM, SMS, bandit signs, those are all paid marketing streams. But some of the unpaid marketing streams are things like networking. We buy a lot of deals from other people here in the city just simply by networking, telling them that we're buying houses. So if you go out and network with people and tell them what you're trying to do, a lot of times they'll end up selling you deals and you have a zero marketing expense for that. So don't let that be the reason that you don't start flipping houses. So what did I do? When I first got into the business, I decided direct mail was going to be the way. I was broke, I was 20 years old, I had maybe a couple $100s a month to spend in marketing. So I got a list organically, it was a probate list, and I went down to the basement of my parents' house and started handwriting these letters. I wrote handwritten letters, I put them in the envelope, I wrote the mailing address, put a mailing stamp on it, and threw it in the mail. I did this for months and months and months. So I sent out the fifth letter, the fifth time sending out this list, and the seller finally called me back, said he was interested in selling. They just inherited the property. So I went to meet the seller at the house, went back and forth a lot. It was a big renovation, had no experience, no nothing. So I was definitely a little bit nervous. Finally ended up agreeing on a price of $70,000 to purchase the house. So it went from marketing, meeting the seller, got a contract for $70,000 to purchase this house. Number two, the next part, semi-important part, kind of important, it's the money. You obviously need the money to start flipping these houses. The easiest way to do that is by raising private money for these deals. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can get these deals financed. One of them of which is a 203K rehab loan. So that's normally for people that are going to move into the house themselves. So that might not be the best option for you because you're probably going to be flipping this house. So I would not recommend that. The next one is hard money. So getting a hard money loan. The catch with this is they only fund, 70, 80, 90% of the deal. So you're still going to have a little bit of money into the deal yourself. So that's a good option, not the best. In my opinion, the best option for this is raising private money. And there's kind of two ways you can go about doing this. One is finding a partner that'll fund the deal for you, and you'll do all the work, and then you'll split the profits, whether that's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, you can negotiate those terms, but you're gonna be paying them a lot of money just for lending money on the property. But to get into the game, it's not the end of the world. It gets your first deal in the pipeline. The second way of raising private money is by getting a private money lender and you're just paying them an interest rate. You know, whatever that interest rate is, it's the interest rate that you guys agree upon, and you're just paying them an interest rate. You will make a lot more money just paying an interest rate, assuming that you don't hold this property for 5 years and lose all your money in interest, but you will make a lot more money paying an interest rate than you will having a JV equity partner. But like I said, at the end of the day, either of those options are good, because you get the job done. You get the deal going, you start getting experience, and that's the most important part. I know, I've heard it all again. It's the same thing. But Austin, I don't have any wealthy family members. Oh, Austin, I don't have any money saved. Oh, but Austin, nobody believes in me. They're not gonna give me any money. Yeah, they're not gonna give you any money because you're doing it all wrong. You have to dig your well before you're thirsty. So what does that mean? Instead of going to someone when you need $200,000 tomorrow, start having those conversations now. Stir up the conversations so you don't have to ask them the day you need money. You're desperate. People can sense desperate. You know, if you go to somebody and you need something, they're less likely to give it to you. So if you start now when you don't need it, it's a lot higher probability that they're going to be interested in lending you the money in the first place. For me, how I got this deal funded, I met somebody 6 to 9 months before this at a real estate meetup, just networking, talking with people, just how I just said. Now, they said that they were looking to get into real estate as well. They had some money back that they were going to fund their own real estate deals from. I called them, I got this deal, I got the lead, got the contract, and I called them just to touch base, like, hey, you know, how's real estate? How's your business? You start flipping houses? And they're like, no, you know, I haven't flipped anything yet. I'm still looking to get into the game though. I said, great. You know, I actually got this opportunity that just came up. You know, I know previously you said you had some money that you were going to end up funding. Have you used that money yet? No, haven't used it yet. It's still there. Awesome. You know, would you be interested in being a private money lender on this deal? They said, yeah, sure. I sent them the details. They committed. We agreed on an interest rate and the rest was history. So digging your well before you're thirsty makes a huge difference when you actually need that money because you already have those relationships built. So start having the conversations now so you're not desperate when you actually need the money. The next step is working with contractors and the repairs on the properties. Keep in mind, I was 20, 21 years old. I had 0 experience in construction, 0 experience in real estate, didn't know a thing about anything. I was nervous, I was scared, but I leaned on the professionals. So when you lean, that's what their job is. They're paid to do a service. They're paid to be a professional. So lean on them when you have to, because that's what they're there for. In my business, all the time I lean on the professionals. I go to people that do this for a living and I pay them to provide that service because that's what they do. So you can lean on the professionals so you don't have to worry about it as much. So you know what I said? You gotta lean on them. So you know, lean with it, rock with it. Don't worry guys, I will never dance again. That is not my forte. So where do you find these contractors at? For me, I asked for referrals. I asked people if they knew any general contractors or any contractors that you need for them to refer them to you so you can start using them as well. So then I went through the house and put together a whole scope of work, a very detailed scope of work top to bottom of exactly what I wanted done to the house. And then I met the contractor at the job site, walked through with the contractor. We came up with a price, and then we came up with a payment schedule, and then we came up with a process that we both agreed to. So everybody was on the same page. We were on budget. We were on timeline. We had a plan. Everything was good to go. So we signed an agreement and got things rolling. Little did I know, that was just the beginning of a lot of things that ended up going wrong. So the numbers on this deal was a $70,000 purchase. I was hoping to put about $120,000 into this thing, and I was shooting for the stars and thinking I was gonna sell for $325,000. But like I said, everything went wrong. Man, this house had everything you can think of go wrong. We had to gut it entirely to the studs. We realized that the foundation was not sturdy. We had to put $20,000 into the foundation, putting in I-beams, jacking things up, making things sturdy again. There was a point where when I bought the house, you could stand on the second floor and jump, and the house would lean back and forth. You could feel the entire house move back and forth. It was a very scary feeling. I thought the house was gonna fall down on us. Then we had to build a 2-car garage. We had to replace the sewer line. We had to electric, plumbing, HVAC, windows, drywall, everything you can think of, we ended up doing in this house. Then it came to the landscaping. I needed to get sod put in. I needed to get fencing put in. I needed to get flower beds put in, all those things. And guess what? I got robbed by the contractor. Ran off on the plug twice. Nah, but for real, he really got me twice. I paid him money. He did a little bit of the job. and then disappeared. And I was like, oh, well, gotta hire somebody else. And then like 2 weeks later, he showed back up. I was like, oh man, like he must have had a hard time. He gave me this good old story. He's like, I'm here to finish. I was like, all right, cool, let's get this done. I gave him more money, and then he disappeared for forever. Never heard of him to this day, never talked to him ever again, and he stole my money twice. Unfortunately, you know, I think that all people are good people. You know, I'm naive, obviously. People aren't good people. Trust, but verify. That's my new saying. Trust people, trust things, trust data, but then verify it to make sure it's actually accurate. Then we were getting to the end of the job. I thought we were getting to the end of the job. So I scheduled cleaners, I scheduled stagers, I scheduled all these people to get the property looking fantastic. And then they all show up on the job site the same day. The cleaners, the stagers, and the contractors are all still working, and the landscapers, so they can't even get into the house. Man, did I screw that one up. Everybody was pissed at me. I don't even know why some of the people still work with me today, because I just told them to keep working through it, and they did. And it was just a massive cluster of all things that can go wrong. We staged the house. We had contractors finish the house. Then we had to come back and re-clean the house and then move the staging to clean and then put the staging back. It was terrible. You got to finish the job, then clean it, and then stage it. And then we finally got to the end of the job, at least what I thought. I was literally fighting with the contractor to stay on the job because I guess he ended up losing money on the job. He was pissed. He was trying to walk off. He wanted his last payment. I wasn't giving him his last payment until he finished the job. We had an argument of what finishing the job was. It was just a nightmare getting it to the end. And at the end of the day, I slept in the house for 2 nights in a row. I was up working till like 5 a.m. I slept for a couple hours on this teeny tiny little love sofa that we used to stage the house. And I was the one finishing up the punch work. I was caulking the trim. I was putting the doorknobs on. I was just doing those last little tweaks that needed to be done for the house to be finished. And I had the luxury of doing that till about 5 a.m. in the morning. But you gotta do what you gotta do. It's part of the business. Then you gotta sell the house. Once it's done, once it looks beautiful, once this whole masterpiece is done, then you gotta sell it. So you gotta find a realtor. Again, ask around for referrals. Ask for realtors in the area and or drive up and down the streets and look for somebody sign in the yard. If they're listing a house already, they probably have knowledge on the market. So work with the realtor. For me, I was pinching pennies. Again, I was young. I was 21 years old at the time. I was trying to make as much money as possible. So if I don't have to pay a realtor, then I make more money. That was my thought process back in the day. Again, now I pay professionals to be a professional. So I wanted to save the real estate commissions. So I was a licensed realtor. So I ended up listing the house on my own. Like I told you at the beginning of this, you know, I thought we were going to sell this for about $325,000. So what I was like, you know, I might as well try and get a little bit more money. I put all this work in. I stayed in here till 5 a.m. So I listed this thing at $350,000. I thought I was shooting for the stars. Like I didn't think there was any way in the world we would get $350,000. And the funny thing about this, I already had the listing up and the pictures loaded to go live that morning at like 9 a.m. And I was still in the house the night before working to get the house done. I was sleeping there knowing I had a timeline when showings were going to start. And I was trying to get the house done. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It just kept going on. So what do? We listed this bad boy, $350,000. It went live at like 11 a.m. By 2 p.m., we had multiple showings. I don't remember the exact number. It was like 20, 25 showings. We had 7 offers on the table, 7 written offers in like a 3 to 4 hour timeline. And the best offer was $25,000 above asking. So I thought I was gonna sell $325,000. We listed at $350,000 and we sold this baby at $375,000. And then boom, 30 days later, after they went through the process, they got qualified for the loan. They bought the house. A week after my 22nd birthday, your boy walked off with a $184,000 check as a 22-year-old. It was absolutely life-changing for me. Of that $103,000 was actual true net profit to myself. I had to pay other people the other money. 22 years old, $103,000 net profit on my first deal ever. changed the game. Like literally life-changing. Like that set me up for the future. Learned a ton of things along the way though. Some of the biggest lessons that I've learned. Subscribing to my channel, if you don't mind, no worries if not, I understand. But for real, number one is just get started. Just start. Without me ever starting, I never would have bought that house. I never would have made 6 figures, and I never would be sitting where I am today if I didn't just start. So just start, jump off the cliff. I'm happy to push you off the cliff, figuratively speaking, obviously, but you have to take that leap of faith. Number 2 is, I call it ABN. People say ABC, always be closing. ABN, always be networking. Meet people now, and it could be private money lenders, it could be contractors, it could be buyers, it could be sellers, it could be realtors, it could be any of those things that you need to operate a real estate company. But if you're not networking and talking about what you do, those people are never going to become part of your real estate company. So always be networking, dig your well before you're thirsty. Number 3, always have a contingency budget. Contingency budgets are huge in this business. I blew this budget by like $50,000. Went way over my budget because all the things that went wrong. So you gotta have a contingency budget to save yourself from losing money on these deals. Number 4, don't do it all yourself. Don't sleep in the house at 5 a.m. trying to get the job done. Hire the professionals, pay a little bit more for the professionals to do the work, hire a realtor, just pay people. Don't do it all yourself because it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And then the biggest thing, number 5, is when contractors start screwing up, fire them. Get them out of the way as soon as possible because it does not get better. I've been in that same situation many, many times, and every time things have gone south, it's been because of contractors and because I didn't make the decision to let them go, and I was hoping that they would pull their stuff together, and they never did, unfortunately. So again, you might be sitting there saying, but Austin, I don't have any money to get started in real estate. What do I do? I'm the plug. So there's this thing called wholesaling. So wholesaling real estate is a way to get into real estate investing with very, very little money, and you don't even have to purchase any houses. You just connect parties and make money. So I'm gonna link that video at the end of this video so you can take a look at it. Or I know what else you're saying right now is, but I don't have the confidence. I'm not confident in myself to take that leap of faith and start that dream that I've always dreamed about. You're scared. Believe me, I've been there. Many, many times I've been there. So I actually also made a video on how to boost your confidence, how to get confident in yourself so you can go out and do the things that you want to do, talk to the people that you want to talk to, and walk into the rooms confidently that you need to be in to be able to meet the people that you need to meet. So I'm gonna link that video at the end as well to help boost your confidence, because both of those videos together has made me millions and millions of dollars. As always, if you enjoyed this content, if you want more of this content, make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that red subscribe button below and comment. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your feedback, and until next time, peace.